We are here from Hollywood Smoke in Santa Monica, California. This is Steve Kim, joined by Dave Smith and Doug Fischer. This is the 10 Count. Guys, the soundbite of the week was not delivered by Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather or even Bob Arum, but by one Iron Mike Tyson, who he's not part of the TMT. He's not wearing a TBE yet. He basically said that Floyd Mayweather is a small, scared man. He's delusional, and he doesn't like him.
If he was anywhere near that realm of great Ali, he'd be able to take his kids to school by himself. There you go. Okay, he can't take his kid to school by himself, and he talking about he's great. Greatness is not guarding yourself from the people. Greatness is being accepted by the people. He can't take his kids alone to school by himself. He's a little scared man. He's a very small, scared man.
I find that interesting that most times retired fighters are very respectful of all other fighters. Where do you think this animosity comes from?
According to rumor, I mean, wouldn't you be upset? I mean, Floyd and Mike were dating the same girl back in the day.
Oh boy!
Floyd finds out about it and he gets furious. Then he coaches the girl to go. You tell the police and file false charges against Mike because Mike has that record. Maybe he can get Mike thrown back in jail. I'm surprised he didn't decapitate him when he heard about that.
Yeah, and
no wonder he's mad at him.
And I believe the USA Today actually wrote a story about it, but I believe Mike Tyson on Facebook, and I can't believe Mike Tyson's actually on Facebook, I guess put out a statement denying it. But yeah, Mike Tyson, I don't think go around poking people. But Doug, do you find it interesting that Mike Tyson, who reveres fighters, past and current, is so open about his dislike of Floyd?
I think that's part of it. You just said it. He reveres fighters past and present. Tyson has always been a student of boxing, not just a student of the game, the craft, and the business, but a historian. He's somebody that grew up watching all of those old fights. Who was it? His former manager? Was it Jimmy Jacobs?
Jim Jacobs had the fight library.
Oh no, that was actually it was Caton.
Caton and
Bill
Jacobs.
Caton.
Yeah.
They both did. They had the big fights, the fight library. He watched that, and his trainer was an old-time trader, Custody Amato. So he heard the stories of the past, and Tyson goes before Ali. I mean, Tyson goes back to Jack Johnson. I mean, he loves the history of boxing. So when somebody like Mayweather says, "I'm greater than the greatest Muhammad Ali," it rubs him the wrong way, just like it rubs me the wrong way. I'm an amateur historian, just like you are. And if anyone asks us, "Hey, is Mayweather the greatest?" we'll say he's delusional, and that's not hating. That's our opinion because we have a lot of knowledge about past greats. We know how deep this sport is, how many great fighters who accomplished great things in the ring, how many of them are out there. Mayweather is one of them. He's not number one. He's not the best. And it's crass and arrogant on his part just to say that.
But he never would have said it if it weren't for that little domestic issue. That's why he brought it up in the past.
You think that's the reason that Tyson came out? I think it's a little bit of both.
I think he would have left it alone if he was still friends with him.
I don't know.
He wouldn't have agreed with it. Do you think he would have agreed with it?
No, he wouldn't have agreed with it.
Yeah.
No way.
And you know what? Mike Tyson, when he was in the Olympic trials in 1984, on TV, he said his favorite fighter was Jimmy McLaren of all time.
Jeez,
that's when I knew I liked him. I said, here's a historian right here.
Yeah.
There is old footage of Mike Tyson in the Catskills in a bedroom with an old film projector, actually watching black and whites of like Henry Armstrong, and Henry Hank, and Willie Pep.
Benny Leonard.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about Mike. I always thought he'd be a pretty good broadcaster, but he doesn't really put the work into it. I've had to be ringside with him before, and you literally have to prep him on what's going on in a current fight.
Right.
Talk about a light heavyweight fight from 75 years ago. He'll talk about the lineage of how you got to that fight, how that fight happened, and where it was. But I think, Dave, there's a personal aspect. There's no doubt. If anyone did that to you, allegedly, and then you had the situation, if you are an old school boxing guy that almost protects the heritage of the game.
That's what it is.
To hear that, it's sacrilege.
But that could have gotten him a life sentence. Do you mean if the cops would have bought that story? With his record on parole, he could have. No wonder he's upset with Floyd. He had gone to jail for life for that.
And the funny thing is, if you go to one of Mike Tyson's books, he talks about a situation that is awfully similar to the story that was written this past week, but he says unnamed champion. Just saying. But anyway, that's it for this edition of 10 Count. On behalf of Doug Fischer and Dave Smith, this is Steve Kim saying you've been watching the 10 Count on UCN Live.